Okay, so Pokemon X and Y thought dump sort of thing. I didn't plan on recording anything like this, but after 4 billion people left me comments asking like, "Oh my God, did you hear the news? Oh, what do you think about this? Oh, we all care about your opinion." I decided that I might as well record something like this just to kind of get it all out of the way. Um, so yeah, if you didn't see yet, Pokemon X and Y were announced at 5 a.m. as of today. Uh, well, in my time zone at least. And so, naturally, everybody already knows everything about it, and there's nothing left to speculate. Okay, no. Yeah, not very much has been shown, but there's still a lot of material that people are discussing and just random blind wishing and whatnot. So, I will discuss what is known, what makes sense, and I guess just kind of go from there. So, random thing to note, they are not called X version and Y version. The version is not actually part of the title anymore. This most likely means nothing at all, but there's a small chance that it could mean that they might be substantially different from each other. Who knew? As for the names themselves, it is most likely based off the XY chromosomes, but some people are saying that it might also be a reference to, like, the axes on a graph, and that, like, the Z version indicates depth, which makes sense because it's 3D now, but, I don't know about... I mean, it might be kind of a double meaning, but that implies that there definitely will be a Z version, which there could very easily not be. But there I go again saying version, but whatever. And in the Japanese title, there's like a weird DNA double helix thing that kind of indicates that it's chromosomes. So, what does that mean? It might kind of indicate that they're going to be doing some more splicing and like fusions and stuff like they did with Kyurem in Black and White 2. At least I'm kind of hoping they do that. I don't know to what extent this would work. Obviously, they're not going to let everything fuse with everything, but as I discussed in an old Fire Red Omega video, I think it would be interesting if they did it for certain pair-ups. And then since they like just recently introduced that as a mechanic, with that can only be used on one single legendary, it would make sense to have something that works for more. And that was just sort of like a teaser. So that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, the game's in 3D and everything. It looks like you're still locked into a grid when you walk. So that's a little bit disappointing. It would be nice to have Coliseum XD style movement, but what can you do? Some people are wondering if you will be able to customize your character because the trailer starts out with the character looking into a mirror. I actually thought that he was in like a train car and was looking at like a reflection in a window, but I think it is actually a mirror and I was just being stupid. There haven't been any close-ups of the girl trainer yet. Waiting for something on that so that 4 billion people can immediately make a ton of, like, Rule 34 drawings ever. But, people have already done that for the new starters, by the way. But, what else is there? The game is taking place, looks like, if not France, then just Europe in general, because there's, like, an Eiffel Tower thing that you can see. I don't know if there's any other real monuments or local, like, I don't know what you'd call it, just areas that you'd be able to tell. There is a weird, like, Golurk statue, but I don't know what that's supposed to be. There was something that looked like a bug gym, something that looked like a fire gym. It looked like you were roller skating in this one part. So, I don't know. There's stuff to speculate about anyway. But the, of course, most interesting thing to point out would be the new Pokemon. So, starting with the grass starter, Chespin, which I can never remember this thing's name. I, like, had to say it to myself like 30 times before I started this video so that I wouldn't forget it. It looks like a normal type, cosplaying as a grass type. A lot of people are saying that. When I first saw it, I kind of hated it. I'm still kind of towards it. I'd have to see its evolutions to see where it goes. and then I might not dislike it as much. It's apparently supposed to be a hedgehog or a porcupine or something, so if it eventually does become something that resembles one of those more closely, then yeah, it might be cool. Fire one is Fennekin, which is basically another version of Vulpix, which also looks somewhat like Zorua. It's alright, I have no problem with it. It's probably the most appealing of the three starters, honestly, although not... It's a little bit generic, but I don't have any problems with it. I'm not sure why they decided to make another fire-type fox, but they've repeated ideas in the past, so this is really nothing new. And it also is not particularly likely to evolve into a fighting type, so this is good. They could still throw a bone into things and have it do that anyway, but we'll hope that it does not. And then lastly we have Froakie, which I think it's interesting. I'm curious to see where its evolutions go also. People say that, like, the little spots on its face look like little tiny glasses, like, and apparently he, like, reminds people of Benjamin Franklin. I can kind of see where they're coming from with that. So I'd be like I said, it might have sort of like a regal sort of look to it eventually, or just like some sort of a scholar, I don't know. But here's where pure speculation comes in. During the trailer, you see each one of the starters use two different moves. They use a move of their own type, and then something else. So Chespin uses something that looks like Night Slash. Fennekin uses like a psychic type of move, like Psychic, Psywave, something like that. And then Froakie, we're not really sure what it is. It could be close combat. It could just be something generic like Quick Attack. But if it is close combat, then this is interesting, because if they are using those moves, like if those were chosen for a reason and they didn't just choose arbitrary moves for them to pick, then these might be an indication of types that they will become upon evolution. So then we would have a Dark Psychic Fighting triangle in addition to the Grass, Fire, Water, and luckily the Fire type is not the one gaining the fighting out of it. And so, yeah, I can see Chespin kind of becoming like a sneaky sort of thing. We've had Grass Dark before with Cacturn and Shiftry, but I wouldn't mind it again. Fire Psychic is an interesting typing. We've seen it with Victini and the alternate Darmanitan form, but I never got a chance to use either of those, so I'd kind of enjoy it. And then Water Fighting, again, we have Poliwrath and Keldeo, but I've never used either of those, so I think I would be happy with any of these starters. Especially with Froakie, people are saying like it might become sort of like a monk sort of thing. So I could see it doing that. I don't know. There's a lot of debate. If those are clouds on it, will it become part flying? It could be poison because it's a frog. It could be fighting like Krogunk. Like, nobody's really sure on that one. It could even be ice, but I don't know. So that's pretty much what I have to say on the starters. As for the legendaries, which are still nameless, we have the weird bird thing, which people are calling Wyvern, and then the weird deer thing, which people are calling Excalibur. I still like to call it Arceus, though, because it looks like Arceus to me. Still not really any idea what types those are going to be. We're kind of guessing dark flying for the bird, but nobody really knows what the hell the deer is going to be. I think they're both interesting. I never use legendaries, but I think they're probably better designs than the legendaries from Gen 4 and 5 were. Those were a bit too over-designed, I think. So, yeah, not really too much else to say about those. I also am going to blindly hope that they are both available in each game, but they haven't done that since Gold and Silver, so I'm not going to hold my breath. And that's pretty much all we have to go on. Then there's, of course, rumors that there will be a new Eevee evolution or two, and the main foundation for this is because apparently in the anime, Ash is going to be facing off against some trainer who has all the different evolutions, but then also just has an unevolved Eevee in his team. And so there's been a trend in the show of always showing off like an upcoming generation Pokemon in the league. I don't think Gen 5 and I don't think Sinnoh did it actually, but they did it with like Blaziken, and that's the only one I can think of, so shut up. But so yeah, it might evolve into something new. If it does, I'm hoping Ghost type. People are saying it'll be Dragon because it's the only like Gen 1 through 3 special type that hasn't been used. I don't know if that means anything or not. I don't see it becoming a Dragon, but you never know. I think Ghost would be interesting, if only so they can name it Oblivion. But then there's also like some like Eevee only tournament thing going on, and there's artwork, or not artwork, but like the logo for it has like each one of the letters a different color, but then there's one that like doesn't match up with anything. It probably doesn't mean anything, but you never know, it could. So I do believe that's basically the end of any kind of speculation that there's any sort of basis for whatsoever. And so things that you can expect based off of past history with the series, I am going to guess that since it is an even-numbered generation and we just had one with a huge load of new Pokemon unrelated to any old ones, they're probably going to start putting in new evolutions and babies of old stuff. Gen 4 and 5 particularly, because they haven't gotten anything yet. And if past trends are anything to indicate, things that should evolve will not, and instead will get a baby, such as Chimecho. And there will be at least one, like, version-exclusive pair, or otherwise, like, counterpart duo thing, where only one of them evolves, and it's usually the one that needs it least. Looking mostly at Bayonet for this one, also Scyther, but because like Bayonet didn't evolve when it should have, and Pinsir didn't evolve, instead it just got Heracross, which is a much better version of it. I don't know, it's kind of weird, and I also would not be surprised if they made a baby form for Throw and Sawk, and then have another evolution like with Hitmontop, but that might be a bit too much of a rip-off, so I don't know. What am I hoping for? I can't really think of anything in particular. I'd like to see fusions. I'd like to see old Pokemon that deserve evolutions to get some. Mostly Farfetch'd, but then you know they're never going to evolve Farfetch'd. They're probably going to give Alomomola a baby form that looks exactly like Lovedisk, and then give Lovedisk a baby form. No, I don't know. I'm just getting stupid now. I think that's probably about it, since nothing else has been announced whatsoever. So yeah, look forward to X and Y, I guess. And no, I will almost certainly not do an LP of it, because we don't have a 3DS with a, like, we don't have one with, like, recording capabilities, and I don't think we plan on getting one. And I am debating if I want to go into it without researching all the new Pokemon, which might actually be possible this time, because it is coming out everywhere simultaneously. So unless there's a massive leak, then it might actually be possible to go into it without knowing about everything, which I have not actually done yet in a Pokemon game. I've always known everything beforehand. I've never had the experience of running into something in the wild and being like, what the crap is that thing? So, it might be interesting. Probably won't even do a text LP of it, honestly, but whatever. Everybody, I assume, will be enjoying the game their own way, so you don't really need to watch how I do it, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, so yeah, I guess that's it.